Today we are reacting to the piano version of Taylor Swift's I Knew It, I Knew You. And I love the original. Did a live react a couple days ago to that. I stayed up till midnight and I was very tired, so I'm not doing that again. But today I'm excited to hear the piano version. I'm excited because from what I understand, again, I haven't heard it yet, it's just a piano and her singing. And that's awesome because it kind of strips down all the stuff that distracts our brain and can really cover up bad songwriting. Now, I know that Taylor is not a bad songwriter, so I'm not expecting to reveal a terrible lyric or something, but I'm interested in how she uses the piano to uplift and maintain the emotion of the song, because it's a very emotional song. So I'm very curious to see what comes in, what comes out of the production. Is it just piano? If I were doing it, I would put on an accordion, probably like a droning accordion in the background, or maybe a cello, something to just sort of call attention that something else is happening, but nothing too annoying or bright or distracting. Does that make sense? So anyway, I'm Bridget. I'm a professional musician, songwriter type, and my favorite way to talk about music is by listening for the first time and just kind of seeing what hits. So I've never listened to this before, and let's find out. Predictions that I have, I don't know. All right, let me make sure I'm recording. Yes, I am. Make sure you can hear. I'll try not to pause too often, but I do have to pause some. Otherwise, I will get flagged with very annoying copyright strikes. For some reason, my channel, even though it's small and not monetized, YouTube always flags me. I'm like, there are creators out there with 1 million followers who are playing more of the songs than I am, and they're fine. But anyway, all right, here we go. Okay, it's a real piano. Sorry, I know I said when to pause. I'm going to start it again. I want to see if you can hear it. You can actually hear the clicks of the pedal. And if you watch the Long Pond sessions, you can see the two different pianos that they were recording with. I don't know where this was recorded. I'll have to listen to it doesn't sound like Jack Antonoff's playing, or Aaron Dessner's. I don't have the CD though, so I don't have the liner notes. I tried to find them on Wikipedia, but they're not there. Anyway, if you listen, you hear the clicks, which is the clicks of the pedal going up and down. And so this song immediately opens with more actual natural room sound. All right, now I'm not going to pause for a minute. I like that riff. It's slower. The blades of the grass in summer, just barely though. For the free fall of being younger, I memorize the sound of your barefoot. Ooh, I love that. Did you catch that? In the left hand. Go back just a little bit. That's just a cool kind of way to add interest and kind of an uplifting. We're moving up. I love that. Yeah, I don't think that's Aaron Dessner or Jack Ant. I wonder who's playing piano. And why wasn't it me? Younger, I memorized the sound of your barefoot steps. Oh, I love it. It's like footsteps. B flat. Here we go to the A major. Life has ways of leaving those days behind. But seeing you tonight, I remembered I left you. Came back when it mattered. I saw you standing there in the light of the window wearing that. All right, so a lot of people talk to me about how this song reminded them of Betty, and hold on, I can show you why. Oh my God, I almost fell. Okay, so Betty does this move that I don't think she was calling back to Betty, to be honest. It's just a very common move that guitar players do if you're playing in a C position. There's a C chord, and then if you're going from C to A minor, it's very natural to make this descending bass sound. And you can keep going. So Betty does that. So the chords are similar here, and so on the acoustic version then, where there was guitar, she did that. I don't think she did it on this move, but at the very end, she did that move. I'm gonna keep this nearby. Hope it doesn't fall. But on the piano, it just moves straight from the C chord to another one. Smile, man, it's been a while. I knew it, I knew you. Oh, cello. I knew it. I knew it, I knew you. I knew Oh, there's a couple cellos.
Colors. You did too. There were times we could fight like brothers. I watched you drive.
Cello is one of my favorite instruments. It's the second instrument I ever learned. It's actually why I play the musical saw. I brought a cello home and my dad was like, take that bow and play the musical saw. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I have lots of videos, particularly on my YouTube shorts where I'm playing musical saw. But I love how the cello comes in here. The cello, I believe this is actually science fact. I will double check this before I post it on the internet. But the cello has the closest timbre to the human voice of any instrument. So it's part of what tugs at our heartstrings, is that it reminds us of a person singing or moaning or adding their own emotions to it. So it, as opposed to a synthesizer or something like that, you get, obviously a real person's playing it, but you get that sort of sound. A timbre is just the tonal color, like the difference between the keyboard playing middle C and me singing little c, middle C. The difference is the timbre. It's more complex than that and has to do with physics. But when someone says timbre, they mean what it sounds like a trumpet versus a piano. So anyway, I love the emotional impact of the cello. There's that.
What I thought would be the last time I saw my friend.
So that was cool. The chord shifts from C to B flat, but instead of going, we stayed, the right hand stayed kind of around a C major chord. And then the bass note, the left hand, moved to the B flat. But the piano still played that little kind of riff based on C. I'll go back just a little so you can hear it. Here it comes.
What I thought would be the last time I saw my friend. But love has ways
I love the creak.
Oh, to life. All you said was hi.
I love how we went up too. So pretty.
I remembered I loved you. Came back when it mattered.
More strings. Oh, there's vocals. Oh, there's a guitar too. Hold on, there's a guitar in my left headphone, like a electric guitar or slide guitar maybe.
Standing there in the light of the window, wearing that same smile. Man, it's been a while, but I knew it, I knew you.
Might have just been an overtone.
I knew it, I knew you.
Oh, that was cute. I love the interchange. I'm going to go back just a little bit and listen to how the cello, the piano, and the backing vocals all work together. That's a beautiful arrangement. Gosh, I can imagine Jack Antonoff and Taylor Swift just staring at the file of, see if I can show you some files I've got on my computer here of just, yeah, let me pull this over. Hold on, yeah, just all these different files. They're just like staring at this going, okay, what if we, mute that, cut that. It's just decision after decision, like which instrument is the lead. I imagine a stage and there's 3 spotlights and 3 people doing different things. So listen to the interplay of them, because that whole idea when you're making a good song is to not have not have one instrument step on the toes of another. So listen to that interplay. I think it's beautiful.
Smile. Man, it's been a while.
I still hear that guitar.
I knew it, I knew you. I knew it, I knew you. Cause I knew you.
Yeah, this is definitely slower. She's singing very differently. Love that same breath work though.
Rivers I cried when you said goodbye, wondering if I'd made it up in my mind.
I wanted to hear a triplet there. I wanted to go, wondering wondering if I made it up in my... Oh, I gotta turn off my... I opened Logic and now we're getting an echo, sorry. Mute everything. Wondering if I made it up in my mind. I love how the cello kind of echoed that left-hand piano part. I gotta find out who played the piano on it. All right, back we go.
But you looked me in the eye.
The cello's dropped out.
And you told me I loved you. Came back when I mattered, I saw you standing there in the light.
So that part we did it. Remember how earlier I took the guitar out and I showed you that descending bass move, the loved you, came back when it mattered, I knew you. There in the light of the window, wearing that blue sky. So when the piano had done it earlier, it was just, I love you, came back, I love you, came back. What was it? I loved you, came back when I mattered, I saw you. That's what it is. They just stayed on the C. This time they walked down. I love you, came back when it mattered, I saw you. In there by the light of the window, wearing that. So listen for that descending bass, which is the opposite. It goes, which is the opposite of the piano movement earlier that went like that. It's very cool.
In my mind, but you looked me in the eye.
Here it comes.
And you told me I loved you. Came back when I mattered, I saw you standing there in the
Where's the
light
cello?
of the window.
Come back in.
That same smile, man, it's been a
Sneak
while.
back in.
You were wearing that same
The
smile,
tag.
man, it's been a while. Wearing that
There it
same
is.
smile, yeah, it's been a while. But I knew it, I knew you.
There's the cello. That was just that left-hand bass.
I knew you.
That's actually brilliant. I would have brought the cello in sooner. Since there are 3 tags, I probably would have brought the cello in on the second one and maybe background vocal in on the third one. But I think what she did is better because it's less predictable and it keeps you hanging. And that's what's going on right there. It's a tag of a song where she keeps repeating the same melodic idea over and over. So it's anticipation. We're like, are we going to land? What's happening? And then when, instead of making it build each time, which would tell our brains something new is happening, we are moving forward, she does it exactly the same, which just builds up tension. And everything in a good art, I believe, is tension and release and playing with that, playing with your emotions. This is beautiful. I don't know if I've said that out loud. This is stunning. I actually really love how restrained it is, but I'm happy there's a cello. Of course, I would have loved to have played the accordion on it, but the accordion's a little bright and tinny for what we need here. All right. So I'm going to play those 3 tracks again and listen to how they don't build each time. And then the cello sneaks in.
It's been a while. Wearing that same smile, yeah, it's been a while.
Oh my gosh, he changed the chord. Did you hear that? So the original goes. Da, 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 da. And then again. Da, da, there. She does that 3 times on the original version. I know it. I'm not. But this time, the last one goes. She goes. Dun, dun, been a while. And again. Dun, dun, then it's been a while. And that's the D minor, the 2 chord, if you're a nerdy like me. But instead of going to the 2 chord, she goes to the 5, which is a super interesting choice. But the 5 chord is the one that tells you we're almost home. So there's a little more tension there. She goes like that. I wonder why. That's not in the other version. No other chords have been changed.
That same smile, yeah, it's been a while.
That's the 5.
But I knew it, I knew you.
And there's the cello.
I knew it.
I love how you can hear the pedal clicks. If you can't hear it, put headphones on. I should have a headphone endorsement. Oh. Sorry, the cello just got panned into the right speaker too. I swear I should have a headphone endorsement. I don't do brand deals or anything. I get asked all the time, but it's usually AI software that I don't want to condone or they don't want to pay me. And I'm like, I'm not going to turn my channel into a commercial. But I do think I should have headphone endorsements because I want to tell you exactly what kind of headphones to get to hear all the stuff that I'm hearing. The cello is very centered, and then it moves to the right. While another, it's either a high cello or it's a viola. I think it's a high cello, just playing. Oh, she's not going to end on the 4, is she? She ends on the 4, but with a G in there. So it's like an F suspended. Very Carole King move there. It's also very like Taylor to end on the 4, except that the other song didn't. So what's she getting at here? I wonder which version's going to be in the movie, because the one that was released yesterday had a very happy ending. And this one ends on the 4 chord, which is more away from home. It's got a forward momentum and you expect it to go somewhere else, and it kind of leaves you hanging. Just like I talked about this in another video about how all of the songs on Life of a Showgirl connect. At the very beginning of that, I connected the Tortured Poets department to the fate of Ophelia through the ending of the manuscript, which musically has a really interesting thing. The manuscript ends on the 4, and then we come in. Anyway, that's nerdy stuff. I have another video about that. All right, quick questions people are going to ask. Song that absolutely stands up. I love it. I love how short it is. I think that's actually a test of a real good songwriter, is to be able to say what you need to say in a short amount of time, because anybody can write a 10-verse song and get the point across. But to be succinct and get the emotion across and the lyrics and the story that you want to tell is difficult to do in such a short song. I think she did a great job. I think this piano version really highlights the emotion of it. There's not as much nostalgia as the production on the original. The production on the original kind of intentionally put a lot of instruments and effects and EQ things that reminded us of songs that we liked when we were younger. I mentioned the Laverne and Shirley theme and a Queen song, a Roberta Flack, all these 1970s songs, the Barry Manilow, that song that was made famous by Donna Summer. There are melodic moves that evoke those songs, but this version doesn't evoke those songs in the same way that the other version, the original one we heard, does, which tells me that it's more about the production techniques that evoke that. We're kind of already living in that 70s nostalgic mindset with that other version. But this, that's just piano, that doesn't evoke the 70s, other than Tapestry, which is like my favorite album of all time. But even that, the piano tone also, I want to talk about that. It's not a keyboard, it's real, and it's not entirely in tune, which I love it. It's not out of tune, it's just not perfect. Like if I played it in here, and I'm not against using a keyboard. So if we were, I think the first opening is, and then he drops an octave too. Anyway, this is perfect because it's a keyboard. It's never out of tune. There's never an overtone that bounces off the room. There's a lot of room tone in this recording, which I think helps with the intimacy. It feels like we're actually getting a peek of her playing it in the living room or singing quietly while who is playing it. It's not her playing it either, and I think she's a lovely piano player, but I've gotten, after bajillion years of teaching piano lessons, I can tell the difference of the weight of their hands, fingers, forearms, and the intensity with which someone plays it. And Taylor plays a little bit, I was going to say heavier, but that's not quite the right word. Anyway, I don't think it's Taylor playing the piano, though I don't think that I think she could play this part. She's a good enough piano player to play it. I think it's really restrained, and I love the choices that were added. The lifting G Dorian, not G Dorian, sorry, G Mixolydian. Anyway, thanks. That's my nerdiness. I will have more to say. I will probably drop sheet music to this because I can transcribe that pretty quickly. I will try to drop some sheet music to it on my Patreon page, which you should join. Thank you very much, friends. Bye.